Hi everybody, my name's Andy Dean. I head up Mental Health Aware UK, and I'd just like to start by thanking Tori. Really, I think she's going to get a lot of thanks as the day goes on for the incredible hard work that she's done behind the scenes to continue to educate on the amazing work that it's been doing and is going to go on to do. So I, for one, am very proud actually and honoured to be part in partnership with Educate. So thank you, Tori, for giving us the opportunity to promote and support you guys. I think it's amazing work that you've been doing. Part of the reason I'm not introducing slides, I'm just talking about what's going on really. I've done lots of talks, lots of presentations, and sometimes for me, the issue around mental health, or there's lots of statistics, there's lots of arrows and points and backwards and forwards, and really sometimes we forget it's about people. It's just about the individual, ourselves. So what I've recently started to do, because we've been doing a huge amount of work over Zoom, is just to consider this easy question. Just ask yourself right here in this moment, how are you feeling? Just what's going on for you? You've turned up to a mental health conference for the weekend, hopefully for the 2 days. Maybe why? You might have some sort of personal interest in learning stuff and connecting with people, hearing speakers. But are you connecting to yourself? How are you feeling? What's really going on for you? And is this an opportunity to connect with people in a different way? Is it an opportunity to kind of step forward just a little bit, lean into it and say how you are? Because there's this wonderful opportunity to put into the chat about what's going on for you. We've found out maybe where you come from and what you're doing for your degree, but we don't know how you are, how you're feeling. So maybe there's just a little opportunity now just to post in the chat what's going on. What's going on for you in your day? How's your week really been? How good or bad or easy or tough has it been? It's a chance just to show up a little bit. Yeah, stressful, absolutely. Yeah, I could add many stressfuls, exclamation marks behind that one too. Busy but all right, great. Busy but all right. Because when we just take that little opportunity to check in, full on, yeah, kind of just opens it right up, doesn't it? Yeah, I have to agree, very stressful, it's been hard, echo all the above, yeah, really think made the best of it. It's really dragged on, yeah. And that's great. So this weekend, really, guys, it's an opportunity just to step forward and be real. Just show up as you are, as whatever is going on for you. First and foremost, be true to that. And if there's an opportunity to lean into and get some support, please do that. Lots of challenges, stressful, but glad myself. Yeah, assessment done. Yeah. And that's the other thing, really. When we know we're going to have a challenging time ahead, how do we resource ourselves? What do we do to look after our own mental health? And I know, it's been a really tough period of time because we haven't had the access to some of the normal things we might have used or done. And we've been stuck indoors a bit longer than we probably wanted to, or definitely needed to. But that was the situation. So during that period of time, again, we just reflect and say, what did I make important? What did I make important? Did I make myself important? Did I make my health important? How did I look after myself during that time? And this isn't about a judgment. It isn't about a right or a wrong. It's just an inquiry. And it can help signpost us forward again to somewhere or something that will really support us. i.e. a conference where we can find out some information. We can connect with people. And I think connecting with people is probably the strongest thing we can do. Because we're human beings. We like to be with others, be around others, be part of things. And human doing is a separate thing. We get on and do lots and lots of stuff. But I really feel that maybe this weekend you guys could use this as an opportunity to be. And just feel into that. And how would that be for you? There is nothing to do. Well, maybe there are a few things to do in the background, but during the conference time, there's nothing to do. And the reason I open with all that is because Yeah, I've also really struggled during the lockdown. It was a really tough time, and whilst it was fairly novel at the beginning, and it was all something different, we kind of like a little bit of variation as people, but after a while, whilst there were some positives for us and the company, there were many negatives. I didn't get to be with people, and I found that very difficult. And as much time as I spent on Zoom, it didn't replace the actual being close to someone, sitting with them, touching them, laughing, seeing them, physically seeing them. I tried very hard to connect through Zoom screens, and we devised all sorts of exercises to do, but there was nothing to actually replace the presence of another. So again, I encourage you, not this weekend because we're on a conference, but after this weekend, please make the most use of your time in connecting with those people that are really important in your lives. And maybe some of the people you've forgotten as well, and haven't had so much contact with. You maybe let it slip, time hasn't been there, it's not been a priority. So yeah, maybe just write those names down and go, you know what, I'm going to give them a call. I'm going to check in with them and see how they are. Maybe arrange a meeting with them. And in taking that opportunity, maybe there's another chance there to go, how have I been whilst I haven't seen you, or I haven't been in contact with you? Because all it takes is one person to start to lean into and be forward and take a moment of bravery and go, I'm going to share something. And that little share can change so much in a person's life. It certainly has done that for me. So Mental Health Aware UK, what are we all about? What do we do in our daytime? Well, the company itself started as an idea, like many companies do, to educate back in the day. There were 3 of us sitting around a table. We were running a retreat up in Scotland, a place called Penningham, doing some personal development retreats. And we thought, wouldn't it be great if we can actually impact a larger section of society rather than just small groups? How could we do that? And we kind of scratched around for a while and thought, wouldn't it be great if we could get into the work sector and actually deliver online trainings that will really resource and support people? Okay, let's do that. And then we all put some money in the pot and rushed off. Go to Gusco, we're going to do this, we're going to sort it out, we're going to make it work. Not really having a clear business plan or an idea at that time. We had very different backgrounds. I was a counsellor and therapist. We had another therapist, and we had a commercial property developer. That was the core team at that point of Mental Health Aware UK. But luckily enough, we met some people on the way. It's serendipity, synchronicity, whatever you want to call it. And the people that came in were incredibly supportive. And fast forward a few years, we're now partnered with many organisations and charities. And our biggest push at the moment is actually education. We're now looking at running a pilot scheme in the Borough of Merton, where we've organised, I think we created funding for about 1,000 trainings for actually teachers in the London Borough of Merton to be trained in basic level 1 mental health awareness. And we've now created a online training that is Ofqual regulated, which we're looking at getting onto the national curriculum for the I think it's year 11 as part of their curriculum. So trying to resource people at source. So when they do come into universities or colleges, they already have some idea of how they're thinking and feeling, and they can articulate that in a way possibly they couldn't before. And the thing that we've really found and we know is so valuable is when you don't really understand something, it's very hard to talk about it. But once we all get a common understanding of something, we can all share it. And that's the beauty of, if you're training to be a doctor, you all have to learn. I'm not trained as a doctor, so bear with me on this one. You all have to learn the same thing. You all have to learn similar words, similar diagnoses. Otherwise, you'll be talking different languages. And mental health is very similar to that. When I talk about anxiety, do you understand anxiety? If I'm talking about my depression, do you understand depression? It can be as simple as that. And what we found by implementing the training is in the workplace, conversations have started where people feel safer because they feel understood. They feel understood by each other. And again, that is an incredible thing. So again, when we have an opportunity, i.e. today, it could be, you could start to ask each other how you're feeling. Rather than using words of anxiety, depression, just actually ask how you're feeling. I feel full on. What does full on mean? I feel stressed. What does stressed mean? You know, because my interpretation of stress and yours could be different. So when we find that commonality, that language, ask another question. You feel stressed. What does that mean? How does that show up for you? What do you do when you feel stressed? Just opens up a little pathway of conversation. And what it does, it creates curiosity. And generally when we get curious about something, we're interested. And then we find that place where, oh, we actually meet each other. And that's really the starting place. That's, you know, I will keep coming back to that. It's really, it's a very simple thing to do. It's a very simple thing to do. And then to build on that, you start to develop a relationship with each other. And you guys are all over the country, possibly, certainly in East Anglia, and a little bit of Essex. So I know. I'm actually out in Portugal. I actually live in Portugal. That's where I left the UK just before lockdown, and I'm now here. And interestingly enough, the mental health programs here are pretty much non-existent. So what I'm finding here is that the views, attitudes, and opinions of mental health are very old school. You know, we've been working hard in the UK to change that stigma and shift it, and then get the inclusion. Whereas what I find here is that it's back in the dark ages. So that really inspired me, because then I noticed the difference we're actually making. You know, it's very, sometimes to get something into context when everything seems the same, it's very difficult. So I think it's great that we can reflect a little bit on our achievements, which is where I come back to educate and say, you know, sometimes you might not see what you're doing, but in fact you're doing amazing things. And I think it's really important to take that on, and be reflected yourself. And the programs that you're running in schools, you know, we are as a company very passionate about, and we're working hard to secure extra funding to possibly do something more with that. So, and the other thing I'm always very interested in is getting feedback. Is we have our ideas and our suggestions of moving forward, but if I was to ask the attendees now on the call, what would you need to resource your mental health? What would be the suggestion that you'd offer for us to learn, for us to grow, for us to meet the need that's really there, rather than do, well, this is what we think it is, this is how it should look. Now, I really like polling people and dropping a survey in and saying, show us, tell me. You know, it would be invaluable for me to know right now your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on how you could see a mental health resource or a program or a support being offered, especially what you've gone through over the recent past, because I think that shifted a lot of resources around, and some people don't quite. I know in the industry that I'm definitely championing, they're not so sure anymore. It's almost like the footpath that we were going to walk on has changed, and I know now there's a huge need for different resources, but we're not always sure what they might be. But for people to tell us, you people here right now, what would that be for you? So you have an opportunity now to say, right, I'm going to implement, and I'm going to somehow support change in the mental health field by making a suggestion. What would that be? Your turn to create policy. Practical support helps me. Work with a coach. Great. Okay. So I'm going to write these down as they come in, because I'm very serious about this. Is a great opportunity for me to learn what you need, And then as a company, we can start developing resources and organising ourselves to actually move it in that direction. So when you say coach, what kind of coach? Currently working with a health coach. Okay, great. Health coach, yeah. And if any of you are accessing services, how easy or hard is that? How available is it? Are there waiting lists? Are there limited slots for support? Accessibility is key. Okay, yeah. All of this is self-funded, expensive. Yeah, okay. So is that, would you want it free at the point of contact or part funded? Waiting lists are extremely long. Yeah, at the moment. Okay, yeah. Means tested. Yeah. Okay. Hard to access person who've waited for years. Yeah. Yeah, this is great, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is great. Okay, this is really good. So what I'd like to suggest is just as the follow on from this, we've got a I can find it hard to get out of access history. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Great. I'm writing out as many as I can as quickly as I can, but honestly I can't write that fast. So I'm hoping that this post has been collected, and if you could send that to me, Tori, that would be amazing. Thank you. And what I'd also like to offer is we have a level 1 CPD mental health awareness training. And if you'd like to leave your emails with Tori or put your email somewhere, we will send you that training. Okay, yeah, help and support. Yeah, great. That's cool. Yeah, thank you. So, and in that training, it gives you a basic understanding of mental health, gives you some signposting, gives you some resources, it gives you some options. And maybe then there's other things that we can do and to work with. I'm very much for, I'm a bit of a maverick in what I do, but we get things done. So I really do appreciate your feedback because it's real and it encourages others to listen. When I have a sheet of paper saying, look, this is what we got from the conference, this is what we really need to be working on, creating funds for and meeting the need. Because it's great that we can sit around in offices and procrastinate and pretend that we're very clever and create out these great designs, but it's the need on actually at the coalface that we've got to deal with. So I am hugely grateful for everything you've just shared. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time. And again, whatever emails we receive, we will be sending the training to. So it's I really, really appreciate that. I'm also conscious of time. I had a 15-minute slot and I think I've just crashed straight through that. So apologies.
We are waiting for our next speaker still. So if you wanted to carry on for another 5 minutes, feel free.
Okay.
I think people are still putting some things in the chat as well, which is really nice to see.
Great. Thank you, Tori.
And if anyone does want to, you can private message Andy, Andrew himself. Yeah. So you can just send your emails directly to him if you want, rather than sending to me to just send over to him. But I have taken like copy of everything that's in the chat. Everyone feel free to keep on adding and any discussion. I think it's really interesting. I had a question about why you think things are so different where you are now in Portugal.
With regards to resources and approach to mental health, it's not there. I mean, the history of Portugal is very different from the UK, the way it's evolved and grown through its dictatorship into what they call now the democracy, which is tentative, I think, to use the word, but it's still based on old political systems. But that aside, I would say the younger generations that I'm trying to engage with through their schooling systems are very open to it, and they're really pushing for change. But that kind of that middle bracket where the power is and the decision-making process comes from is very old school. So it's preferred to be seen. It's a bit behind closed doors. You know, people with mental health issues are dangerous, or they're criminals, or they can't be trusted. You know, it's that kind of approach still. And I was at an event last night where I was speaking that I kind of suggested a different approach to things could be advantageous, just to let people come forward. And I could feel the tension in the room in some parts, and I could feel the relief in others, where people are like, well, someone's actually finally saying this. So it would be, I just feel in time it might happen, even though it's the European Union and the policy is very clear about mental health. It doesn't filter down so well. So, but I'm trying to translate everything that we've created in the UK into Portuguese to offer it as a resource here. If that answers the question, at least. There's a lot of work to be done, basically, but I really love it. I enjoy the work. I enjoy being with people. I enjoy when people are real. I think it's far easier than to understand. Whereas if we all pretend we're great and we're fine, then it's just hard work. That's why I definitely feel for the course of this weekend, everybody show up as you are, share as you are. That's what it's about. It's about mental health. And mental health is about how you're feeling and how you're thinking at its most basic level. So we're not here to diagnose or anything like that. Literally just here to be here and be part of a great conference for a weekend that we can really feel supported by. So that's really the invitation. And Graham, thank you. Look, you're all putting your emails in. It's brilliant. What great response. I'm really touched. And we'll be sending them out over the next week. So check your spam if it hasn't arrived. Your talk was extremely interesting. I would like to. Yeah, great. Absolutely. I missed that last one. As a business, we're a not-for-profit. We're not a charity, but we're a not-for-profit. So we don't drive around in big cars, unfortunately, and have great houses in that respect. You know. The stereotype, sorry, that's probably not so cool either. Please send me to your email. Yeah, certainly will. I'll send you over all the information. We'll give you like an intro into what the training's about, and a link to the actual session that you can have. And it's a CPD one, so if you finish it, you'll get a CPD certificate as well.
That's amazing. Great. Thank you. Oh, wow.
That's great. So well done, everybody, for showing up. Really great, you know. And support Educate, as I say, an amazing organisation doing amazing things, and will continue to do so. And yeah. Very, very happy, and as I said, proud to be part of this opening show. Yeah.
So I'm not sure whether you can see all of your private chats coming through, or whether you can see there was a long one posted in the main chat. Just
okay.
If you wanted to have a read.
Yeah, I'll go into the chat after the
no, don't apologise. It's all good.
Trying to keep pace with them coming. I think it's great, and as I say, it's great that you're responding as you are. It's nice to shake it up and be a bit different. Well, I like to think it's nice to shake it up and be a bit different. So that's great. So I'm pretty much done, I'm afraid, Tori.
That's good. Thank you.